Greetings. January 24th, Wednesday, 2024. Welcome to the Hollywood Hills Test Kitchen, sponsored by the ProChef Foundation. Today we are featuring ACF French chef Anne and her homemade deviled eggs.
Good morning. We're making an international selection of deviled eggs. They'll be Russian, they'll be United States, cowboy style, Japanese, these will be Italian. We're having an array of seafood as well, with smoked oysters. These are the Mexican with salsa. This is a Peruvian ceviche, and a mango and apple chutney deviled egg. So first of all, we are going to start with how to make a mayonnaise. So we start out with a room temperature egg yolk, and whisk it, add a little bit of mustard, and a little bit of lemon juice, just to start with, not too much. You can, and then mix it well. You have to do this before you add the oil. You don't add everything together and then start whisking. You'll have a bit of a disaster, and your mayonnaise might break, and then you don't have to throw it away. There is a method to get it back and after it's broken. So basically you just stream the oil into it. I'm using an avocado oil, but you can use another type of oil such as olive oil. I find it a little too strong for the mayonnaise, but you can use grapeseed oil or sunflower oil. And as you can see, it's kind of runny still. You keep whisking and it will get thicker. So keep streaming the oil inside little by little. It has to emulsify together. And you'll see it gets, as you keep whisking, it'll get thicker. You saw it before, it was rather runny. Now you see it still a little runny, but thicker. And you will see that in a bit it will be a lot thicker. Now at this point you can use different oils. As I mentioned before, these are olive oil with black truffle and white truffle, and they enhance the mayonnaise and give it a good flavor. And you can use it for the deviled eggs, and add maybe some mushrooms or something like that, in view of the fact that the truffles are mushrooms. So as you can see, it's gotten a lot thicker. And I shall show you. It doesn't drip down as easily. But we're going to keep whisking it. At this point, you add a little more lemon. And your tasting spoon. Needs a little salt. Where's my salt? Okay, a little salt. And a little freshly ground pepper. This is black pepper that I'm using. And I like my mayonnaise to be lemony, so I'm going to add more. But as you can see, it's very thick now. But keep whisking. The more you whisk, the thicker it'll get. I'm going to add a little more lemon. I also want to mention, you can take your salt and pour lemon juice on top, and it'll just it will dissolve the salt a lot faster than when you actually put it in the mayonnaise, because the oil coats the salt crystals, and then it's harder for them to dissolve. We're gonna taste again and see how it is. Much better. I would still add a little more lemon. And you can basically add any acid you want. You can also use vinegar if you wanted to. Or some people like to use pickle juice, so you can use that as well. So, in addition, with your mayonnaise, you can add herbs, fresh herbs, such as we have some chives here, we have cilantro, we have dill, green onions, basil. So you can, we also have thyme, though probably a little too harsh, but, and I want to show you again, even though I've added the lemon juice, it's still thick. So you have a nice mayonnaise consistency. Just to show you the difference between a store-bought and homemade. Now the reason being that these, I use dark egg yolks. And in France and in Europe in general, the egg yolks are actually a lot darker. But anyway, you can see the difference between the two. They're equally good. It depends which brand you like. So, for example, I made mine quite lemony because I'm going to be adding some chives. This is for the Russian caviar, deviled eggs. And for example, the one with the cowboy, the United States, I'm using some crushed peppers, red peppers, and I'll be chopping a little bit of the bacon inside, as well as the caramelized onion. But there will be a topping on having deviled eggs. They really are quite delicious. You just need to have a nice topping and something inside your mayonnaise so that your eggs look pretty and they're tasty. So we're going to have a last taste on the mayonnaise. Very good. Just the right amount of salt. And lemon. As I said, I like lemon. But at this point, we can add the chives, because but we don't need that much. So for demo, I'm just going to take a little bit, and because we don't need a lot. And then we have the egg yolk that we're going to take. Okay, and I'm going to actually mix this together. So this mayonnaise, which is quite lemony, I'll be using with the smoked oysters and also with the ceviche. So here we have our lemony egg yolk, and we're going to put a little bit of chives. These are fresh chives, and you can be generous with them. Put this aside for now. Okay. So here we have our chives. A little more actually. Now a good thing to do is to use to make this ahead of time, and I'll tell you why. Because you want everything all these flavors to infuse. So if you wait, you know, a few hours and then fill your egg, it's much better. So here we have our filler. We have, this is going to be as a garnish, both the chives and the radishes. And then we have two types. We have a salmon caviar roe, and we have the sturgeon. So the sturgeon is black. Well, someone open. There we go. So we have our dark, our black caviar, and then we have our salmon roe. Nice clean spoon. So I'm going to show you now. I have used jumbo eggs because they're pretty and they're bigger and they're easier to see also, and they're, you know, they're a little bit better. It's a little more food to eat. So we're going to cut it into, there are two ways of doing this. Wet our knife, or you can put also, you can also put oil. But I wet the knife because it goes nicely through. And what you want to do is you want to cut it lengthwise. So you hold your egg and you eyeball it so that, and kind of go back and forth this motion so that you have a nice clean cut. So this, I had previously made it. So there, just slips out. Just kind of, and you can help it come out, and it came out very clean. You don't really need to do this, but make sure that your eggs, at least the top, is nice and clean. And we're going to fill it up with, so here's another thing. You can either spoon it in, and I'll do one with a spoon. There. And it's okay if it goes a little overboard, actually, because we're going to put the salmon in, and we're going to put two types of salmon, but you can use either one or the other. Use a little more. So we're going to put a little bit of salmon roe here on the side, just like that. Turn it, because that makes it easier instead of lifting it up. And we're going to put, it is a bit tricky to get them, but with practice. You could have also put dill on in the egg yolk mixture, and oops, there we go. Now we have a little presentation plate here, so we're going to set it down, and I'm going to be using, a sprig of dill, fresh dill, preferably. You can use dry dill. I don't find that it's as flavorful as the fresh dill, and this is a lot prettier. We also have spread it out a little bit so